Bonjour again. Right. So I had a thought earlier, and I thought I'd just share it with you because I've been reflecting a lot recently about meaning and finding purpose in your life and having a mission and all of these kinds of things. And I think I've been able to find for the time being something which seems like it makes a lot of sense for me. It's given my life meaning and purpose and direction. And if you are someone who is like me, you may also benefit from seeing and thinking about things this way. So I've got it written down here, but I'll kind of read out some of these things. So you want to set yourself a big goal, and you want to follow it while also spending some of the time with people you love being around and people you care about. I think the things that kind of make this life worth living is if you have a goal, you have something that you want to achieve, you spend at least maybe most days in a year, maybe like 90% of the days in that year, maybe 85%, you spend 85-90% of every single day in that year doing a little bit of work towards it. You got to think about, the way I think about it is that it's like you often hear people say about moving the needle, but I really think about it like Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the hill. What we've got to believe is not that Sisyphus is always going to have to roll the boulder up the hill and always keep on going back down to the bottom. Although maybe we can kind of believe that in a certain sense, but we've got to believe that Sisyphus rolls the boulder up to the top of the hill, and when he gets to the top, he can let it go and he can look at the amazing view. You know, this life isn't just a bunch of suffering indefinitely forever. Otherwise, why would you want to live it? There's a lot of great moments where you can sit back, you can let the boulder roll down the hill, and you can actually look at you can get to the top of this hill and you can look around and you go, wow, my God, look how high I am, look how far I've come, I can be excited about this, I can be happy, I can be at peace and be proud of the work I've done for this. And then you go back down the hill and you keep on pushing the boulder up. But that's the way I think about these things, like hard work and progress in your life, it's how far you push the boulder up the hill that day. And if it's just one step, if it's just half a step, that's all that's needed. The whole point of setting yourself a big goal is to have something to work towards, to keep yourself busy, to have a direction in life. And this is the key thing about having a big dream, because I now have a dream that is, I don't want to reveal it because I don't want it to, I don't want there to be any complications. I don't want anyone getting in my way as clearly in reaching my goals. That's why I don't want to tell people about them. But what I want to achieve in my lifetime is comparable to becoming, say, a president or a prime minister. And that's a big thing. I am just an average person. Maybe I'm slightly higher than above average. I went to university. I got a first in philosophy, but I also didn't go to I didn't go to a Russell Group university or anything. And my course was fairly easy, or it was at least fairly easy if you enjoyed the course that you were doing. I got triple B in A levels, but so I'm probably more educated than most of the people in the UK, but I'm by no means at the top or anything. I'm just an average guy. I really am. Maybe just tiny bit more intelligent than the average person. But then they do say that the average person thinks that they're more intelligent than the average person. So maybe I am average. But regardless, I'm nothing special. And yet I have set a goal for myself which seems impossibly big. But the reason why I've done that is because it means that if I actually reach this goal in my lifetime, hey, I've done something amazing, and it's genuinely something that I think about now, and it's just it's like if I had to just do one thing for the whole of my life, and if I could only achieve one thing in my life, I would be proud of myself for having achieved that. So that's that's what I've made my focus. And so if I achieve that goal, which I very much hope I do, I've done something amazing for the world. But if I don't, at least I've given my life direction. And that's where I think it's important that you couple progress towards your goal and having the goal, and having that goal be something you actually care about authentically, or honestly, like it's like a deep rooted belief and thought that you have, and you've been able to understand the surrounding beliefs around it and break away a lot of the limiting beliefs from that. And I think it's also important, as well as having that goal, that progress that you want to work towards, you also want to still have friends and family and people that you love, and you want to be able to do this big goal for them and for yourself and for others around you. Yeah, you want to do it that way. So that way you don't turn around and go, like at the end of your life, you're not going, wow, I just neglected everyone in my life for this one goal, and I may have achieved it or I may not. But the whole point of having the goal is to do something great, but it's also to be able to share in that that happiness and that fulfillment and like proudness with other people, and be able to give to other people as well. So I think it's very important that these two things are coupled, that you have people who you love, and you work on those relationships that you have with people, and you speak honestly to them, and you show them more and more of yourself and your honesty to yourself, and you really are able to find ways to be able to get attached to people in a way, like in a positive way, like be able to really love people, and you also have this goal that you're trying to achieve. You need those two things. Now, for some people, they might be thinking, okay, yeah, but like, what's this one goal I have? Like, what is this one thing? I, for ages, have wanted to do so many things. I wanted to be a DJ. I wanted to become some kind of Buddhist and just go and sit in a monastery and just contemplate life and become that. I wanted to become a teacher. I wanted to become a psychologist or a therapist. I've wanted to become a YouTuber. Even just that's 5 different things. Here's the thing though, you might be able to achieve one of them, and okay, there's people in the world who somehow do like all 5 of them, and then they do 2 other things. I remember watching a YouTube video of this girl who was at like Oxford University. She had a YouTube channel, and then she also had like a business or something. There are some people who are monsters. They're crazy. If you're like me, you're not one of them. If you've got 5 things, if you're like me, then if you try and move yourself in 5 different directions, let's say you've got 100 units of energy per day. You've just got 100 energy, kind of, in a sense. If you try and do 5 things in a day, that's 20 points to each of them. The person who does 1 and just focuses on 1 thing a day, they have 5 times the amount of units. They have 100 units to put towards that thing. If this was kind of as easy as this, and as simple as this, it would literally mean that the person who focused on the 1 thing got to that place eventually 5 times quicker than like the person who tries to do 5 things at a time. And that's what you've got to think. You've got to realise that, if you want to take my advice, you have to realise that you don't have unlimited time on this earth, and you don't have unlimited time in a day. you can, if you want to achieve some things, you have to sacrifice other things. If you want to become an amazing swimmer, you kind of have to sacrifice becoming like, I don't know, an amazing paraglider. I don't know. You know, like we've all got such limited resources. We've all got only 24 hours in a day. And if you're spending 1 hour getting better at swimming, you can't spend that same hour getting better at baking cakes. You know, we've like there's a great quote by M.J. DeMarco, and it's a bit more of a business related one, but he says money is unlimited but time is finite, and we all have finite time. If you think about your life as it is, you've probably got less than 100 years to live, and that's it. You're done. You don't have any more time in life ever. So we've only got this limited amount of time. Do you want to spend it trying to pursue 50 different things and be able to make no progress in them? Or would you rather just focus on the thing that really, like, it's the thing that it boils your blood? If in the case of me, you see a problem in the world and you want to improve it, this is the thing for me that I just, it makes me so sad, it makes me so miserable, it makes me so negative about humanity, that I just want to do something about it. I just want to put my life towards this, and that's all I want to do. How I've managed, that's how I've kind of understood what I should do with my life. I should do the thing that just matters most to me, even if I didn't believe that it is possible, even if I didn't think that I'm the person that could achieve it, even if I believe that it needs to take billions of pounds that I can't make or something. I've got to restructure a lot of those thoughts so that they aid me in being able to achieve that goal. So that's how I picked out what I want to do with my life. Surrounding all those different things about becoming a Buddhist or a DJ or whatever, I have two ways of dealing with these things, because if you can't do them, if you decided that you can't do them with your life, that's quite a sad thing to have to think, to be honest. It's almost a sense of a loss of a future that you could have had, the possible future you could have had there. But there's three different things about how I deal with this. One is the quote that is usually, like, it's better applied to relationships, but it still applies here, and it's a very, very good one. And it's there's always quotes about, is the grass always greener on the other side, and then there's back and forth about it. But in truth, the grass is greenest where you water it. That means, okay, if you are going to go over to the grass on the other side, regardless of whether you do that or not, whether you choose to stick with what you've got now, or whether you choose to, like, whether it comes to relationships, or whether it comes to your businesses, or whether it comes to life direction, regardless of whether you choose to stick with what you've got now, or whether you choose to change to something else, unless you actually water the grass that you're on, it's just going to dry up and die. And that doesn't matter whether it's right here, whereas it might feel like it's drying up and dying, or that might be if you move on to that other patch of grass, that's going to eventually dry up and die. You've got to give constant attention and focus and concentration and energy towards what you are doing in order for it to become viable, in order for it to flourish, in order for it to even just be sustained. And so with those things also in mind, with that, that's again why you can't go and do everything. If you're some kind of freak of nature, sure you can, but if you're just an average person, then you need to be able to focus on one thing, because if you don't, you won't be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I imagine an alternate reality where there is a version of me. It's an alternate universe, and he decides to become a Buddhist, and I kind of celebrate that. I imagine that is a real place. I imagine that multiverses or whatever actually do exist, and there is a Tom somewhere in the world, well in the universes, who does decide to go that route, and that's how I feel a lot better about where I am, and that's where I feel like better about just deciding that this is for me, because it allows you to entertain that there is a possibility that version of you does go somewhere else and just do something else, and yeah, you can just be happy for that version. You can be interested in what that person's life would be like, maybe speculate on it, but because also because you're only hypothesizing about it, you also don't go into one of those narratives that you can often have where you can think, oh, if only I'd done this, then I would be so much happier. Oh, if only I'd gone there and done this and seen this person and met this person and decided to take that job and decided not to do that. Because you don't realistically know what would actually have happened if you had gone and done those things. It could have ended up better, it could have ended up worse. So, being able to accept that and decide for yourself, I am deciding I'm going to do this for myself. This is my decision. I'm taking a stand down. I'm bounding myself for as long as it seems reasonable, and then you will define what reasonable is to for yourself to this cause, and I'm going to do this. That's also just really empowering in and by itself. Yeah, so having an alternate reality kind of thing, it allows you to just accept that not all routes in life you will be able to take, and you can't, even if you wanted to, you just can't. You can't go and live in two places exactly simultaneously at the same times. You can't go and have two partners and hang out on dates with them exactly at the same time. You can't build two businesses and be working on them at exactly the same time. You can't go and play two sports in the same hour, in the same second, maybe. We've got to accept that there is a certain amount of limited ability that we can really express, and then we need to just make sure that time that we do have, we put towards the thing we actually care most about. We actually do go and do the things we want to do, because otherwise we've just kind of wasted that time. The third one I've forgotten, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking about the world. You kind of, but let's see if I've thought of anything else. Yeah, I guess it's just about meaning, really. That's how I've been able to find meaning. I've realised that I found meaning and structure from my life by interpreting it through a kind of hero's myth. I'm someone who's going to work very, very hard to achieve what I really want to do in changing the world for, as I see it, the better. And that's just given my life direction. Even if I don't necessarily achieve that, at least I've been able to go somewhere. At least I've been able to have a sense of direction. I'm not just standing outside kind of thinking left, right and centre about, should I go that way, should I do this, should I do it, what about that? No, I'm walking down that street and I know where I need to go. I've got a step, I've got a power, I've got a way of moving that I'm confident in. I want to do it. It's a great feeling. Oh yeah, the third point was that I still want to become a DJ. I still want to potentially become a therapist. I still want to go and do these things and these other things in my life. And if I focus on just one thing right now, if I make that my focus, it will allow me to unlock all those possibilities in the future. For what I'm thinking that I'm doing right now, or for what I'm focusing on right now, it is allowing me to be able to unlock those possibilities in the future. That's what I'm thinking. So, at some point, I will be able to do a bit of DJing, and at some point, I may even be able to become a therapist. Realistically, am I ever going to spend as much time doing them as I would be doing what I've set myself out to do? No, because I feel unfulfilled, and I'll feel a certain amount of guilt that I should just be focusing on the main thing, which is good, I think. So yeah, but at least I'll actually be able to do them, and even if I get to the end of my life and I haven't actually done them, I kind of know that I know that I only said that because it was kind of trick to get me to actually focus on this thing. The way I think about it is that if I achieve this one thing I'm focusing on, it unlocks all of these other things that I can do with my life. And that might not be true, but it's really motivating me to actually do this stuff. And when it gets to that situation and it maybe turns out that it isn't there, I might be a little bit disappointed. But I will have also been able to do all this focus. The only thing I will say to counter all this is you need it to, at least in my case again, you need it to run dual. You need to have this purpose and this focus and this sense of progress that you're making, because progress is the thing, that feeling that you have made a little bit more progress. That's what allows you to rest easy at night, for me. But you also need to balance that out with spending time with loved ones and giving to others in ways that you really you feel nourishment from and you feel happy and proud of. What I'd recommend for this kind of aspect, there's a great book called Tuesdays with Morrie. I read that at the start of this year, and it was a really good point about it's a really good book to get you in the mindset about life being about giving to others. I think all of these things need to be said with caveats, and there's nuances. You shouldn't overstretch yourself, and you should give in ways that you feel you want to, and you may not know what those are. But again, you may not know what they are now, but you can prod around and you can find out. And that brings me to my last point that I'll make as well, is that meaning and what you find out it isn't something that maybe it's something that you arrive at an epiphany, but I think a lot of people, and maybe I could be entirely wrong, but I think that a lot of people who are successful and find meaning, I think a lot of them probably retroactively make these big statements about, oh my god, I found this profound thing, or at the very least the way that they found meaning isn't the same way that I found meaning. Maybe you'll be like them, but maybe you'll be like me. I found meaning through a gradual process. It's like I've had a blindfold on, and it's like there's been this object that's been put in front of me, and let's just imagine for the sake of it that it's an elephant, and I've spent probably about 4 years, maybe even more, maybe even 6 or something, and I've spent 3 very intentional years trying to establish, or maybe 2, trying to establish very focusedly on what I'd want to do. I want to become a music video creator for some time, and I thought that was what my life's purpose should be. So, but that changed, and now I've got a completely different idea. And it isn't necessarily that I've been bouncing back and forth. It's like a self-guided missile. And with every new bit of information that missile gathers, it straightens its course. I don't know how they work, but I imagine it's like you have this. This is the target, right? My little thumb. My thumb is the target, and then the self-guided missile will fire out here. It will get to this point, and it will go, okay, we need more information. It gets the information, and then it goes, okay, well, we need to project our we're gonna overgo it if we go that way, so we need to go a bit lower. And then it then flies, and then it calculates some more information. And it goes, oh, hang on, actually, well, if we keep on flying this way, we're gonna hit it. So now we're gonna calculate this way, and then it flies up, and then it gets to here, and then it goes, hang on, wait, recalculate. And that's what this is. That's what this has all really been. Meaning is like, sorry. Anyway, that's what this process of finding meaning has been for me, and it might be the same for you. It's a simple matter of actually just doing something, actually putting yourself in a new situation, getting information from that, going, oh, actually, yeah, like this part, but this is fucking boring. Oh, I don't care about this. Great, you've learned something. Okay, blah blah blah. We go into a new situation, find out some more information. Oh, this. Well, I don't like that bit, but actually, yeah, like when I really think about it, I really like this aspect of what I'm doing. This is something that I could see myself really like wanting to do in the future. I don't know how I'm going to manifest it, but if I can find a way to make this work, then that would be great. I'm saying this in the context of, for instance, I found that one of the things that really motivates me in life is association. It's being able to be around people who I like, and it's actually just about simple kind of showmanship and like politeness. Like I could see myself, I don't want to do this with my life, but there's an alternate universe me who becomes a butler and loves that. I love being able to make other people feel cared and valued for, and like I'm a sophisticated person who's given them the experience that they wanted from any situation, who's pre-planned and thought out all the possibilities, and who's had them prepared so that when that person who I'm serving thinks of an idea and wants to do something, I'm like, yes, madam, I have prepared these 7 different options, or like that's what I find a lot like empowerment from. And I noticed that just from doing like a job at like a Costa. I noticed, oh, actually, hang on, like I actually find enjoyment from talking to people and serving them nicely and being polite to people. I really like this. A lot of my co-workers didn't. I felt, like that's so fucking depressing. I'm really sorry for the people that spend their lives doing that. It's really sad. I hope if you don't find enjoyment from it or from fulfillment, I hope you can find something to do with your life that you do. Because my God, no wonder that would be so sapping, like energy and time, and no wonder anyone couldn't do anything else with their time if they did a job like that and they hated it. Because you'd spend the rest of your time getting home and just trying to recuperate. I mean, I did that, and I loved my job basically. So okay, well, that's a side point about society at large. But I found just through a cafe job that I actually really enjoyed like caring for others, and I use that as same motivation in my work now. Now I'm doing a kind of, I do like I do more office-based work, so I'm not exactly right in front of a customer serving them, but I realise that actually I get a lot of pleasure and enjoyment from being able to know that the work I do for people is recognised and is like professional, and it's like people are grateful for it, and so I take that and I put that into my like work. Also in my own business that I'm developing at the moment, I'm going to use that as a main motivator. I know that I care about that, and I know that that's something that's key for me. So I'm going to integrate that into my business. This is how meaning is found. It's through all these little subtle things that you like. they're just hidden in plain sight, and then one day you just go, oh, oh yeah, like, and then you write down that thought, and then you write down some more about how you feel like about it, and you just let your mind naturally wander, and then you discover something about yourself, and that's fantastic, and that's how you, or at least if you're like me, that's how you will discover meaning. It isn't that you have some kind of epic revelation and you'll realise that you're the next Messiah. It's that you'll just slowly uncover it. It's that you are the person with the blindfold on who's trying to feel an elephant, and you're going, wait, what the hell is this? And then it's only after a certain amount of time of doing it that you can go, oh yeah, this is an elephant. Oh. Or you go, oh, I'm not really sure what it is because I still haven't seen it, but I'm guessing it's an elephant. And so, yeah, well, it may not be the case that there is necessarily like a definitive objective purpose for your life, in the same sense that like an elephant exists and you discover that it exists because you're still blindfolded. It might not be that there is actually a pre-existing meaning for your life out there here, and then all you need to do is experiments to find it out. But in another way, it's like it might be that there's some kind of like this kind of loose. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Basically, I'm just trying to say that through experiences in life, you may not objectively find what is the point, but you might find, actually, hang on, like this idea I've come up with, that really aligns with this thought I have about myself, this one, and yeah, it like really aligns with them, and it doesn't do this other thing that I don't want. And the more clarity you get about yourself, the more you can realise that there are options and things that you can do with your life that are aligned with those bits. And so you will just become more and more aligned. You'll be able to do more and more things that align with more and more of your values. And you'll like be able to do something you want to do with your life. And you'll feel happy and confident and purposeful. So yeah, that's that video. A quick lesson or a quick experience share on meaning, purpose, direction in life. To summarise, I think that the way I've been able to find purpose in my life is to realise that I have such a limited time on this earth that I could very, very easily get to the end of it and not have done what I wanted to do. 2, I've thought, well, it's probably helpful for me to assume that what I really, really want to do in my life is possible. So I've changed those beliefs that I have about it not being possible for someone like me, and I've started making steps towards doing that. 3, I employ progress, and I try and bring like myself one step closer, even if it's just one step closer to my goal. And I do that every single day, essentially, probably 90% of all days in the year. And it isn't a bother, it isn't hassle, because it's what I want to do. So no wonder I'm going to do it, you know. And then 3, and of course some days, sure, like you're not going to want to do it, but those days are less than the days that I want to do it. And then 4, you have people around you who you love, and you improve the relationships that you have around you. You really start to understand yourself. You understand other people. You have hard conversations about what you really each want from things, and you have fallouts, but you then use those fallouts as ways to understand each other better, so on and so on. And you make sure that while you're building and focusing on this one thing that you're really focusing on, you make sure that when you get to your goal, you're going to have people around you that are actually going to want to celebrate with you. So, you know, like, so you've got to make sure you keep that in check. And then, like, you also want to, relax and sometimes stuff. But yeah, I mean, so that's basically the way that I've been able to find direction, meaning, purpose in my life. It's to be able to pick a goal, it's to realise I don't have a lot of time, and it's to realise that I should really just focus on the one thing I care about, because if I don't achieve it in my lifetime, at least I've done something. At least I've actually focused on the thing I care most about, rather than just caring about some things that I think I could do. I want to do the thing I really want to do. I don't care about if, like, I don't think right now that I can do it. I want to do that with my life. That's what I want to do with my life. I just want to get it done. I don't care about thinking, oh, can I achieve that? Fuck off. Like, I just want to put my life towards that thing. And so I am. And I think if you're anything like me, it'd be a pretty good idea to do the same. Have an unrealistic goal. Have something so big that it means that you have the whole of your lifetime to work towards it, and you have to use the whole of your lifetime to work towards it. You know, set yourself that. And then eliminate the other ideas, or say that those other ideas that are really nice but they're not as important, you can do them once you've done this big thing. And if you don't, then an alternate version of you in some other reality will at some point. But you give yourself that goal. You give yourself that huge goal. It's a massive goal. It is going to take the whole of your life, and you're going to hope that you are able to live long enough to complete it. And then, you know, every single day when you wake up, you can walk one step further towards getting that. And you do that. That's what you do for the rest of your life. 80 to 90% of the days that you're alive. Even if it's just responding to one email on this one thing that you've got a business in or something, and like, even if it's just writing down in your notebook that what you're going to do tomorrow, you do something towards it. And the beautiful thing is that you do have, if you've set yourself that one goal, that's all you really have to care about to make an achievement and success for yourself. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. I hope that's interesting. I hope that's empowering. Yeah. Love you very much, and I'll talk to you guys in another time. Ciao.